I woke up and I heard it. It was screaming.
So the episode 4 trailer for Alien. Earth is finally here, and it's one of those teasers that doesn't just show you what's coming next, it makes you question what's even real anymore. From Wendy's ghost-like movements, to Joe literally carrying an alien tadpole in his lung, to Prodigy tearing itself apart from the inside, there's so much packed into this preview. And the best part is, the more you look, the more it feels like the whole foundation of this show is about to get ripped apart. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. Let's go step by step through what the trailer shows us, the biggest clues hidden in the quick cuts, and the theories that episode 4 might unleash.
We need to think about what's gonna happen if this whole thing goes to hell.
Wendy's ambiguous state. One of the strangest, most unsettling parts of the trailer revolves around Wendy. If you remember, her encounter with the xenomorph should have left her either dead, paralyzed, or infected. But what we see here is something completely different. She's moving around like nothing happened except no one else seems to notice her. That right there hints at two possibilities. Either Wendy has somehow recovered physically and everyone's ignoring her for some reason, or we're watching some kind of consciousness projection. Think of it as a hybridized state. Her body might be infected, but her mind is reaching out, walking the halls like a ghost tethered to the xenomorph hive mind. And if that's the case, Wendy could be our first real glimpse at what happens when a human doesn't just get taken by the aliens, but starts to become part of them. The idea that she might actually be hearing or even communicating with the embryos and eggs around her makes her role in episode 4 potentially huge.
Maybe you're feeling it now.
Joe's lung horror. Then we have Joe. If Wendy represents the psychic side of alien evolution, Joe is the biological horror front and center. The trailer makes it crystal clear there's something alive inside his lung. It's not just a parasite in the chestburster sense, it's shown more like a tadpole, growing and pulsing, feeding off him without immediately killing him. That detail is important. Because if this isn't just a standard facehugger implantation, then Prodigy might be playing with something brand new here, an altered life cycle that doesn't follow the usual rules. The idea that a facehugger's core could be transplanted and survive like this opens up terrifying possibilities. And let's be real, this isn't just about Joe being unlucky. The way the trailer frames it, Joe's body might become an experiment, a living container for Prodigy's hybrid agenda, which raises the question, is Joe going to be a victim or a bridge to something completely new in the alien mythos?
I mean, if we did this wrong, best case, we got a bunch of AIs going around thinking that they're human. Worst case, we killed
Kirsh's experiments and the alien language. Speaking of experiments, the trailer shows Kirsh leaning harder into his obsession with the eggs. He's clearly trying to push boundaries, and the disturbing part is that Wendy seems to have some kind of resonance with them. Whether it's her infection, her altered state, or something else entirely, she can hear them. If Wendy really is attuned to the xenomorphs, then episode 4 might finally introduce the concept of an alien language, not in the human sense, but in waves, impulses, instinctual communication. Imagine Prodigy realizing they have a living translator for the hive. That would make Wendy both their greatest weapon and their most dangerous liability.
An alien species decides to speak. One needs to ask why.
Slightly's moral struggle. But while Kirsh plays scientist, Mr. Morrow continues playing puppet master. One of the clearest threads in the trailer is his control over Slightly. You can see the conflict on his face. He's told to retrieve an alien egg, but he doesn't want to. He knows what that means, he knows the risk, but the pressure is unbearable. And that's what makes Slightly's arc so tragic. He's not a true believer. He's not a manipulator, he's just caught in the gears of Prodigy, where hesitation is weakness and obedience is survival. His decision in episode 4 could end up deciding his fate, and honestly, it feels like he's being set up for heartbreak. If he betrays himself and follows Morrow's orders, he might lose his humanity. If he resists, he'll lose his place in Prodigy. Either way, it's a no-win situation.
Do you hear that? They're talking to me.
Nibs and the synthetic spiral. Now let's talk about Nibs, because her story is quickly becoming one of the darkest. The trailer hints heavily at her crumbling mental state. She's already struggling with her synthetic body, questioning who she is, and episode 4 seems ready to push her over the edge. What makes this so compelling is that Nibs' identity crisis mirrors the larger themes of the Alien franchise: humanity versus artificiality, creation versus creator. For Nibs, it's not just about being accepted by Prodigy, it's about accepting herself, and failing to do that could make her either a danger to herself or to everyone around her. It wouldn't be surprising if Episode 4 puts Nibs in a direct confrontation with Wendy or Joe, because all three of them represent different stages of transformation: synthetic, infected, hybrid. And when you think about it like that, it's less about whether they survive and more about what they become.
Is to ask why.
They're experiments, Dan. That's what we do.
The brewing conflict: Kirsh versus Cavalere. But while all of this is happening on a personal level, Prodigy itself is starting to split apart. The trailer clearly teases friction between Kirsh and Cavalere. Kirsh wants more power, more control, more say in the experiments. Cavalere doesn't trust him, and honestly, why would he? This sets up a classic power struggle inside the group, and it's the kind of conflict that doesn't just weaken Prodigy, it practically invites disaster. Because while these two are busy trying to outmaneuver each other, the aliens are evolving in the background, and you just know the second their rivalry explodes, the containment systems are going to fail.
Of infinite potential.
There's a feeling you get when the monsters.
Dangerous experiments in the containment cage. And speaking of containment, let's not ignore the new footage from the cage. We see different species being put together, forced into proximity, as if Prodigy is trying to accelerate hybridization. This is straight out of the messing with forces you can't control playbook, and it never ends well. The danger here isn't just that something escapes, it's that Prodigy might accidentally create something worse than the xenomorphs they're already dealing with. Episode 4 could easily mark the beginning of a chain reaction that pushes the entire show into full-on outbreak territory.
She's just a kid. Keep telling yourself that.
The tadpole reveal. Finally, the trailer saves its most horrifying image for last. The tadpole-like facehugger core writhing inside Joe's lung. This isn't just body horror for shock value. It's the symbol of everything alien Earth is building toward: infection, transformation, the line between human and alien blurring beyond recognition. It also raises a big question. Is Joe doomed to be just another host, or is he carrying something new, something that could change the rules of the xenomorph life cycle forever? If Episode 4 answers that, it could redefine the stakes of the entire season.
We killed 6 kids.
Predictions for Episode 4. So, where does all of this point? Based on the trailer, a few things feel almost certain. 1. Wendy, Slightly, and Nibs will be at the heart of the story. Wendy as the hybrid connection, Slightly as the conflicted conscience, and Nibs as the unstable wildcard. 2. Prodigy's collapse has already started. Between Kirsh and Cavalere's power struggle, Nibs' instability, and Morrow's manipulations, the cracks are everywhere. It's not a question of if Prodigy breaks apart, but when. 3. The alien threat is no longer just external. With Joe infected, Wendy potentially linked, and experiments spiraling out of control, the aliens aren't waiting outside the walls anymore, they're already inside. 4. Episode 4 will push the themes of identity, control, and transformation harder than ever. The real horror isn't just the monsters in the shadows, it's watching the humans become the very thing they're trying to control.
One needs to ask why.
They're experiments.
Our nerdy thoughts. The Episode 4 trailer for Alien. Earth doesn't just tease action and scares, it teases collapse. Collapse of identity, collapse of morality, and collapse of Prodigy itself. And that's what makes it so exciting. Every character we've mentioned, Wendy, Joe, Slightly, Nibs, Kirsh, Cavalere, they're all standing on a knife's edge. One wrong move, and everything unravels. And with the facehugger tadpole already alive inside Joe, it feels like the unraveling has already begun. If Episode 3 set the stage, Episode 4 looks like the spark that's about to light the fire.
Thing goes to hell.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.